In the 90s, Playmates Toys made the deepest line of Star Trek action figures in history. My name's Keith, and I'm a collector working towards owning all 284. I've been a Trek fan for almost 35 years, and most people are sick of me talking about it. But somehow I've convinced my old friend Mike to review them with me on Look at My Star Trek Toys! Hello, and welcome back to Look at My Star Trek Toys. I'm so excited. Today we are going to finish off All Dressed Up, Part 2. We are very classy. We are very dressed up, and, you know, it's appropriate. And hopefully, with any luck, we'll get our third co-host who always wears his tuxedo.
I think we should, in fact, it's classy enough. We should do it. Hold on.
Oh, yeah, no. We should, if we're going to be really invest in the formal occasion. There he is.
All dressed up.
All dressed up and pumped to knock over the Star Trek figures. I also have a tuxedo cat, but he's upstairs. Anyway, how's it going, Mike?
It's going good, Keith. Always glad to be here with you and all of you at home or on the go, on your iPads, on your phones, wherever you're watching your YouTube videos. Thanks for taking the time to spend a little time playing with toys with us. Since you have some spare time, it appears, why don't you go ahead and subscribe to the channel? Hit the notification bell icon. Turns out, we didn't know this when we started. It actually helps. A few of you have done it, and it has brought others to us because at the end of the day, a lot of us are people of a certain age with jobs and the stress of life. And isn't it nice to just watch some other older dudes play with toys?
Star Trek toys.
Yes,
Star
for now.
Trek toys.
For now.
All right. Well, let's not waste any time.
No.
Let's get into this because we have so much to talk about. And let us start with figure number 6190, Captain Jean-Luc Picard, the original. Let's take a look. There we are. Guys, it's Patrick Stewart. I feel like Patrick Stewart is dressed up in anything he wears because he's Patrick Stewart. And this is another picture from Data's Day, TNG 411. Patrick Stewart here. Well, I have a lot to talk about, but first, hit me with your impressions.
I love it. The red seems a little, maybe it's your lighting there. The red seems a little more maroony. It's very nice. It's got like a metallic sheen to it. I do question your posing of the right arm. It's slightly, I don't know, but
look, peek behind the curtain. Getting them to stand up on the turntable without putting the stands on them is really difficult. So they get posed in whatever it takes for them not to fall over for the 30 seconds I tape them.
All right. Well, let's. I love it. I love Patrick Stewart. I'm always questioning whether on these sort of like variants, if they change the head molding. We talked about it last week. I'm wondering if they just pop the same Picard head on, or if it's slightly different.
I bet you they will if they can.
Yeah.
They've made a lot of Picard figures, so it might not be the original one, but I bet you good money that head is reused a couple of times. But speaking of reused, that's a perfect segue. There's a little detail on here that is revealing of Playmates saving some dollars. Mm-hmm. So, and let us hop over to Toy Cam so I can show you what I'm talking about. Let's go to Toy Cam. Okay, so if we look here at Picard's rank insignia, if it will choose to focus for me, this is going to go great. Hold on, we're going to move this here. We're going to move this here.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Oh, nailed it.
Oh yeah,
you're going to
see. You got to start focusing more often.
Yeah, right. So 3 pips of his rank insignia are molded. The 4th one is just painted.
And is that true? Why? Hold on. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit for our viewers.
All right, hold on. Let me get it at an angle that's good. All right, zoom in.
Okay.
All right.
There we go. You can see
perfect.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. So 3 pips are molded and stick out. And we're also painted gold. A little bit has rubbed off. The 4th pip is just a gold dot. And
That's
why
weird.
is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Well, because almost all of the other figures in this series are commander or less. So
Oh.
and basically between commander and lieutenant or whatever, you have three that are either painted or not painted. So they just used all of them with 3 pips and either painted over them or painted on more, so that the Riker model has the exact same body and the 3 pips are appropriate without having to paint on an extra pip.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's saving money and assuming that there weren't going to be nerds on the internet because it didn't exist yet.
Right.
Showing 4K footage and getting into the details like this. But yeah, that was a way that they saved a little cash. But let us take this opportunity while we're talking about Picard, while we're talking about the dress uniform, to talk about the evolution of the dress uniform, because there are not 1 versions of this throughout the Next Generation. There are 5. So let's take a look at them all together. So you see here from season 1 on the left, it's a dress. It's not just a dress uniform, it's a full-on dress. And he's wearing, down to just above the knee and wearing leggings underneath it. Interestingly, all the way up to season 7, which is the one we've been looking at with the figures, which is basically just sort of a longer tunic deal. And I think what they were trying to do here, and this was an intentional thing they were doing throughout the Next Generation, and this was a Gene Roddenberry thing, much to his credit, was sort of removing the masculine and feminine from fashion. Because in the future, it matters less. And he's right. I mean, certainly matters a heck of a lot less now than it did in 1990 or 1987 when this came out. So it was very forward-thinking. In the pilot, that you can actually see men wearing dresses. They had a dress, like a dress, not a formal, walking around in the background of the Next Generation. So it was an intentional political thing to try to work in this direction. However, clearly they had decided to pull it back a little bit and hike up the dress throughout the whole series. And you'll note a couple of other little details there.
Yeah, it's like we're gonna stick with the dress, but let's lose the lining. All right, let's stay with the dress, but let's lose the leggings and go with a pant. No, you know what? Let's keep the pant and go with like a shorter dress. You know what?
Like
let's just make it a long shirt.
That I couldn't have described that any better. That's exactly right.
I have to say, I like the first version. I think they nailed it. Maybe 1 or 2. I think they're sleek. I think it's, I get what you're saying. I get what they're going for, but I think it's incredibly masculine, and he looks ripped in it. So,
of course he does.
Yeah.
Well,
so,
I mean, and that's the thing. Like, I don't know why they got nervous about it, because I agree with you. I think it's cool. I would like for them to incorporate the rank insignia, which wasn't there back in season 1, but it's still it got very dark. It's very dark. Go to something that's not black.
We'll do it live.
We do it live, folks. We do it live. But anyway, it's fascinating to watch them do that. In fact, that first yellow swipe from season 1 was actually yellow and not gold, and without the gold detailing you see here in the screenshot of Patrick Stewart. So so interesting going on there. And the only other character who wore all 5 different dress uniforms is, of course, 6190 Riker. Now, I mentioned it last episode, but I did not misspeak when I said 6190 two times in a row, because that was the commanders or the officers set, which are all in that. There was a 6-pack of figures. This one, like the last one, is not numbered, although both Picard and Riker had, as we mentioned last week, whited out numbers because they clearly reused some legs. But yeah, so, and you can see here that Riker in Data's day is wearing one of the longer ones. I don't think that's from Data's day. I think I screwed that up. But whatever it is, that is the longer one than the figure got manufactured. Mike, take it away.
Well, not much to add. Great arm placement. I love that he's rocking. He's proving your point that he's having trouble standing up
it's hard.
But yeah, Riker, I actually think their decision to have him have that sort of like Abraham Lincoln chin strap beard throughout the run of the show is very intentional. It gives him, it suits him, it fits him, and I think it's cool because once you kind of make that line, once you make a decision character-wise on facial hair or a hairstyle or whatnot, and then you mold figures, you're kind of stuck with it. As you can tell, we talked about with Cisco.
Oh boy. Folks, should I tell the beard story to Mike? Everyone else in the whole world knows this story, but I think we should regale Mike with what the deal is with Jonathan Frakes' beard.
Absolutely.
So in season 1, he did not have a beard. He was beardless. And so season 2, he showed up for filming the pilot, anticipating shaving off his beard, which he grew over the off season. And they were like, you know what? I like it. You should keep it. And so Riker's beard, in some ways, has become a clue for Star Trek fans that the episode might be good, because season 1 was bad. And once Riker got a beard, the chances of the episode being good were better. However, Riker's beard is not really the turn. It's the turn from the season 1 and 2 uniforms to season 3, because season 3 is when it kicked off. So, yeah, and that's just Jonathan Frakes. That's what he wears in normal life, and he kept it. And then he kept it all the way until Insurrection, or was it Nemesis he took it off? I think it was Insurrection, where he took it off in a scene with Troi, which, we shouldn't talk about.
Okay.
Yeah. No. It was, I don't want to talk about, I don't want to give away spoilers.
Yeah, I saw all of the Next Gen movies, and I don't remember anything about them. I do want to revisit, though, because I remember enjoying them.
Well, you should revisit them after you watch the series.
All right, Keith.
Get on it. Watch the series. What's wrong with you?
What's truly wrong is my wife. Not that she's not lovely. She just has zero
that was
interest.
The quote.
Although she was enjoying Picard, and we are up to the last episode. We haven't watched it yet.
Well, I'll tell you this. My wife has zero interest, too. That doesn't stop me from watching it. Mm-hmm. I just spend a lot more time alone.
It stops you from exiting the basement, but...
It does stop me from exiting the basement. That is true. All right. Well, let us continue. And let us talk about a figure who got a figure all by himself. And that is 6226 Chief O'Brien in a dress uniform. Okay, so this is pretty cool. We'll talk about the figure first, and then I got a little surprise here.
Okay.
So this figure is interesting because we talked about the pips, right? That most of them had 3, and then they painted in a 4th. This one, however, doesn't have any molded pips. It has a single painted pip, which, as you can see from the screenshot right next to you, he wears 2 in his dress uniform. However, Chief O'Brien isn't an officer. Oh. So he's a non-commissioned officer. So I don't know what the pip rules are, this, that, the other thing. All I can tell you is it's inconsistent between these two things. But it's a good figure. This one came out in the DS9 line in DS9 Series 2, because. But the screenshot is when Colm Meaney was on Next Generation before he transferred over to Deep Space Nine. Now, this episode that the screenshot is from, again, I've referenced Data's Day a bunch of times because it's great to get screenshots from, because it's a wedding. It's Chief O'Brien's wedding to Keiko. So we have a lot of our cast wearing dress uniforms. It saves me time hunting down which episode somebody's wearing a dress uniform in. But I have here in my grubby little hands, one of my most prized possessions.
Okay,
And
we're going.
Go, yeah, get to me. Here we go. And that is an original script from Data's day. Now, I know everyone's saying like, oh, those are so easy to get. They're reproduced all over the place. No, this isn't a reproduction. This is an actual original script used on production. As I know I've mentioned before, my uncle worked on the show in the sound department. And Star Trek at that point was very rare, and that they had an open script submission policy, which no TV show has done before or since. So anybody could write their own script and send it to them, and they bought a bunch of them. And a bunch of them like went on to join the writing staff. And so when this happened, my older brother was like, I'll write one. So we went to my uncle and said, hey, can you send us a couple of scripts so we can know what to work off? So he sent us this. So this is a script used by the sound department. This is Bill Winstrom's script. This was Data's Day, written by Ronald D. Moore. And this script is the lined script with the director's shot list and notes. So every shot in this entire script is mapped out with all the technical data. So, you cut to the tracking shot and they have each shot 47E. It's a 2-comp. And what day they filmed it on. They filmed it on October 24th. And O'Brien downstage, Geordie Beverly MedTech upstage on transporter, and so on and so on and so forth. It's really cool, all of the details it has. This is the final version from October 23rd, 1990, but there are plenty of lines here that are crossed out and written on the fly. And it's a really cool piece of Trek that I have kept all of those years from when this came out. So, and I have another one, but I was excited to take a bunch of shots from this very episode.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'd love to see this wedding dress as a figure as well.
Yeah, that's true. That was looks like it's made out of plastic wrap because, future.
Yeah.
I don't know how fun that would be to wear, but there you go. All right. Well, anyway, I had to. If I'm showing my toys, I got to show some of my other fun stuff.
I think that's awesome. Yeah.
Because why not? All right. So I have another mystery in this next figure that I want to put out into the internet and see if anybody knows the answer. And that is about figure 65268 Dax in dress uniform. So this is Terry Farrell as Jadzia Dax in the episode Move Along Home in the first season of Deep Space Nine. Not a great episode, as I mentioned last week. So this figure was a Spencer's exclusive.
Oh, okay.
And according to the internet, both on the Star Trek reference and on Wixaban, this figure was limited to a 7,500 run, which would make it pretty darn rare. However, I don't think that's true. And I'll tell you why I don't think that's true.
I got it for $1.
No, I got it. I got it in sort of a cool way. But here, let's go to Toy Cam, and I have no idea if we'll be able to pick this up.
Well, got to give it a go.
Oh, Picard's still in the way.
Picard has something to say about it.
He's like, well, I don't think that's right.
Oh wait, we're seeing the line. Yeah.
There it is. Oh, it's so close. It's gonna happen.
Well,
maybe it's not gonna happen. Well, all right. Well,
try it.
Oh, it's coming. Anyway, you can sort of see it, but you can just trust me that this figure is numbered 9679.
Put that back in. I'm doing a zoom job.
I don't think I got it. I don't think I ever got it.
No, it was pretty close. Hold on. Move your hand up. Wait.
Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, 9679. Wow, well done, Mike. So, if there was only 7,500, right? Why is this one labeled 9,600? Right. Now, there's a couple of theories. they might not have numbered sequentially. I don't know why they wouldn't have, but who knows? Maybe they destroyed a batch of them, accidentally, and so they'd already numbered them, or whatever. So all of that seems possible, but I don't know, and I have another question about it because she's coming in. I've seen this figure around more often than I'd expect for that limited a figure. Now, we're going to leave Jadzia here. Do you have anything to say about Jadzia?
No, looking great. The facial sculpting, wouldn't pick her out of a crowd, but that's neither here nor there.
Okay. So, within this series, they only made one female body figure of the dress uniform. So this is the only model of that. However, if we continue our mystery to my next figure, which does not have a Playmates model number because it was never made, let's take a look at Dr. Crusher in a dress uniform. Okay, so you guessed it, it's a custom. And so I will, let me finish this, then I'll talk about Dr. Crusher. So this was obviously made by somebody to fill out the line. There's a huge industry of custom figures with these, and it's really cool. But clearly what they did was they cut off a Crusher head and glued it on to the Dex head.
Oh.
Again, why would you do, I understand, like, you don't have a choice if there's only one figure with that model. So that would be an expensive thing to do because you have to destroy one of the 7,500 only figures in order to make this one, which I get it. You got to complete the set, and I have a complete set, and I'm really glad that I do. But guess what? Let's go back to Toy Cam. Because unless I'm wrong, this and unless there's some other figure set that this could have been custom built on that I'm unaware of.
Close. Wait,
it's coming. It's coming.
It's thinking hard.
It's thinking.
It's frozen.
It's frozen. It's frozen. Oh, there it is.
There.
This is number 13,579.
Huh.
Or I mean, yes. So that doesn't make any sense. It's certainly not 7,500. That's twice as many.
Yeah, that's bizarre, right?
I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense to me unless I'm missing something. And if I'm missing something, please let me know in the comments below because I would love to have this mystery solved. And anyway, so I'll very quickly talk about the Dr. Crusher in the dress uniform. It's obviously Gates McFadden playing Dr. Crusher. And this screenshot is taken from another legendarily, let's say, questionable episode of Star Trek. This is Season 7, Episode 14, Sub Rosa. And I bet you could not guess the plot of this if I put a gun to your head. So I will save you the time and say she bangs a ghost.
Oh, okay.
But also, if you, leave it paused there, you'll note that there's a couple of errors that have to happen here because you're building a custom. And that include, if you look at the Star Trek, her communicator, she's wearing a Deep Space Nine communicator as opposed to a Next Generation communicator. But what are you going to do? If you're going to make a custom, you don't have much of a choice. So, just an interesting little detail there. So
also, Gates is such an attractive person, and not as great a likeness here.
Well, that's it's tough to do hair. It's tough to do.
Them the breaks.
Them's the breaks for a $5 toy. But so let us continue because there's more to the story. There's always more to the story. With our next figure, hey, we've got Crusher. We have to have Troi, right? Let's take a look at custom Troi dress uniform. So here she is. I believe she was made the same way by decapitating a Dax figure and gluing on a Troi figure. And this figure is, I'll save you the trouble of trying to focus, is 7,881. So all three of these figures are numbered higher than the 7,500 that the internet claims they made of this. So I don't know. It seems unlikely to me that information is correct. So if somebody knows if it's true or not, let me know. I'd be really curious to get an answer on that. So she's going to have the same problem with the communicator. She's wearing the Deep Space Nine communicator, of course. And but it's one of the later Troi heads that they used, not the first one, which was all weirdly dolled up. This is a screenshot from 702 Liaisons on Next Generation. And actually, you know what? I said I had a complete set, but I don't, because there is no Worf dress uniform made. And you could build a custom, but that'd be a really difficult ask because you'd have to build the baldric. So that would be, you could definitely do it. You took an O'Brien body, put Worf's head on it, but you'd have to either paint the baldric or mold your own plastic onto it, which would be quite a big ask. Who knows? Maybe someday I'll acquire one, and I'm gonna have to do an odds and ends and things I missed episode at the end of all of this. And if I have one by then, I'll do it there. Any thoughts?
No. I think I like your design choice to use the stand for the customs.
It's because the female figures have smaller feet, and therefore they don't stand very well.
And they have higher hair, so they're top heavy.
Yeah, that's possibly, yeah. So
physics, baby.
These are the ones I couldn't possibly get to stay up without falling down.
So you don't have the Worf, or there is no Worf?
There is no Worf unless it's custom.
Oh, okay. Because that's the one I want to see, because like you said, it's different. He's got the sash, the baldric, as you called it, yes?
Yes, it's called a baldric, yep. Yeah, so no dice. No sash for you. But if we're talking about it, might as well, from that screenshot, he's wearing a different baldric than his regular one. He apparently has a dress baldric as well. So so that is it. That is the end of the fancy party that has been all dressed up.
I thought you said you had some specials though.
Well, that was the customs.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. I thought you meant, I really had believed when you teed this up that you had some holes in your line, that you had literally crafted your own action figure or costume of sort to place upon your other action figures, which I was really psyched about, and now feel a little let down.
It would be like a third grade art project with with some clay literally. And some tongue depressors and like paint.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting, and I was really overjoyed about it. But
that would be amazing. Well, who knows? Maybe I'll go to the wood shop and make a Worf for next episode.
Hey, do you have a Worf you'd like to share with us that you made in art class? You can always send us an email with an image of it. We'll show it on the show. Send you pictures, people. You can do that at lookatmystartrektoys@gmail.com, or send it to us on the Instagram. You can always tag us at Star Trek Toys.
Well done.
I'm Mike. This is Keith. Keith, take us out.
Folks, we'll see you next week on another episode of
Look at my Star Trek Toys.